I wasn't sure if that was a technical glitch or not. I heard it start and then stop.
Down to the MF show, you MFers, and we beseech all the real musicians out there, forgive us. We know not what we do.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup. This is a song about a man who had a lot to do with music.
Little known fact,
As a matter of fact,
was a ruckus song.
a relished memory in my mind he was. And a good musician, might I say so. This man was named Beethoven. He was named Beethoven. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask him to forgive us. Roll over and listen to a little of this. Roll over, Beethoven.
That's right. We like all kinds of music, some more than others, but music connects the soul to the universe. Let's get into it. Well, I try. I realized I was talking in part of that music, talking about Jimi Hendrix. I edited it and I reviewed it, and I didn't catch that until just now. Twice.
Well, you know, I didn't know if you did that on purpose. Something I noticed with that video you did in the museum is you have to bring the music down anytime you try to comment, because it's hard to hear your comments. And, you know, when I previewed that the other day, I sat here and laughed just now because I totally missed William Hung in there.
She bangs. She bangs. Even William Hung appreciates music. Well, this week, go ahead.
No, I just said hi, people.
Hello, people. You MFers. If you're wondering why I said MFers, because this is a Muckster Finkel music show, and therefore our audiences are MFers. Is that old yet? It's only our second week. Can't be old yet. I was given the privilege of picking this week's music. We're going to try to do 5 pieces, and during the 5 pieces, if anyone can guess the common denominator, Burns made it. Burns 66. I hope he saw the part where we asked for his forgiveness. Thank you for joining, Burns. And I apologize. There are no refunds for your time or money invested in watching us. What was I saying? Oh, yes. I picked 5 songs. Sing by the Carpenters. Oh, Canada. Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. I've Seen Fire and I've Seen Rain by James Taylor. And both sides now, Joni Mitchell. And I have not yet announced the common denominator to the theme, although Muckster thinks he may have guessed it. I don't know if he wants to share his guess yet or if he wants to wait until I announce it.
Yeah, I'll wait.
Okay. All right. Shall we start with the Carpenters, who when I noticed the video, I never realized it before, but Karen Carpenter's brother looks an awful lot like Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill. But let's see if you see what I see, and if I can find the video file. Which one is Sing, right?
Yep.
Nope. Go Canada. Let me see here. Carpenters. Here we go. This is the late great Miss Karen Carpenter. And I apologize. Last week I never followed up on my homework assignment Muckster gave me, and that was to link where I got the videos from. To save that homework this week, I've actually included the whole screen where you could see the artist and the channel I got it from. Play.
Sing a song, sing out loud, sing out strong, sing of good things, not bad, sing of happy, not sad, sing a song.
See, that looks like Mark Hamill to me. Does that look like Luke Skywalker to you?
Karen Carpenter is Luke Skywalker? I don't know.
Karen, the brother. Who, when I was a kid, I thought it was her husband or a partner.
That was actually very common when a lot of times they'd go on an interview, and the interviewer would say, "How did you two meet?" And they'd say, "Oh, our parents introduced us."
Okay. Well, yes, that is the son of Darth Vader. For all you Star Wars fans. Okay, maybe not. Let's continue.
Make it simple to last your whole life long. Don't worry that it's not good enough for anyone else to hear. Just sing.
And I do that all the time. I don't worry if it's good enough for others to hear. I'm going to sing because I do it so well, right? You do it pretty well too, don't you, Muckster?
Better than you.
We will have to take a survey at the end of the show, see who people think is the better singer, the Muckster or the Finkel.
That's one way to end the show.
Sing a song.
I thought I heard some singing. Were you singing?
No, I'm humming lightly.
Oh, okay.
I try to control myself.
If you want to jump in there, you're welcome to pause this too anytime you want. And if folks are disturbed by us ruining the song by pausing it, it's right there where you can go and listen to it without these two geezers interrupting.
Make it simple to last your whole life long. Don't worry that it's not good enough.
And I just want to point out another reason we pause isn't just to put in our 2 cents worth. It's also we found there's fewer copyright issues if we're commentating on it. Even though we've tested all 5 of these songs for copyright strikes in my smaller channel, and so far they're not hit. Last week we did the same thing, and someone struck us down until we debated with YouTube about it. So we're trying to avoid that if we can.
For anyone else to hear, just sing a song. Just sing a song. Just sing a song.
I was going to mention that she died because of anorexia.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was anorexia or bulimia. I knew there was an eating disorder, which was sad. So many wonderful musicians were taken away from us before their time. Not always about drugs, sometimes other issues.
Some people said her brother used to harass her about her weight. And
yeah,
that contributed to it. And when you look at that, I mean, she was so thin. It's just it's such a terrible thing that somebody can look at themselves in the mirror and go, "Oh, I got to lose weight."
It's hard for us to understand. It's easy for me to understand for someone to point at me and say I'm a Chinese spy balloon, but I don't understand how someone that thin can think that they're fat or take it with more than a grain of salt when someone else says that they're overweight or whatever. That's it's pretty bad. What I did like her message that you can sing. Just have a song in your heart, have music in your soul. It doesn't matter if you're good or not. Hell, we'll even listen to Burn 66 music. Sorry.
Anybody ever wants to chime in and chat anything too, Feel
Yeah.
free.
All three
We
of you.
tried. Yeah. I say we, but I try to keep an eye on chat.
Okay.
Some people aren't so good at that.
Oh, well, excuse me. Does this song bring any memories or thoughts or anything you'd like to commentate before we go to the next piece?
Nothing real specific except I used to love the Carpenters.
Ah, yes, me too. My parents listened to it, and then a little bit later on in life in high school, my girlfriend at the time had all the Carpenters hits on 8-track. If that tells you what a geezer I am, we listened to these tapes called 8-tracks.
Hey, that was always a fancy thing. You know, you have an 8-track player in the car.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was
Right.
you're pretty special if you had an 8-track set. Now people laugh at it.
I always had the same thought about the song, though, as you, is the idea of, hey, I am going to sing. You know, I don't care who doesn't like it.
Yes. Oh, I'm going to go to another inspirational piece. This is the national anthem of Canada. It is actually appropriately named "O Canada."
Donna, you're an American again. INS has a grandfather clause. If you pass a 3-part literacy test, an American history exam, you fill out a 1-page form, you're back.
My adopted country.
Wow, Josh, I kind of wish you'd mentioned this before.
Why?
Oh man,
Wow. You were very good in there, Donna.
What the hell is going on?
I'm sorry. That was the wrong one. That was for our Feld show, the tribute to the West Wing. Let me try again. I get 3 strikes, right?
I thought you attached that on purpose.
I
as a
did. I'm
lead-in. Okay.
playing the part. Oh, Canada.
I'm sorry, it's easy to believe you do dumb things.
Hey, now I know where you string.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land.
Feel free to sing along in French.
Patriot
Or
love
Deutsch, Burns.
in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for
If you just got here, no, a hockey game is not about to break out.
That reminds me. I had a coworker who came into work one morning all pissed off because his hockey team lost, and he says, "Yes, my team lost. I don't want to hear another word about it." I said, "So you're telling us to shut the puck up?" He didn't like that. Okay, in my heart, I know I'm funny. Inspirational and patriotic if you're Canadian. As an American, how do you feel about that?
I think other countries are so much better at picking songs than we are.
Oh,
You know, we had America the Beautiful to go with. You know, God Bless America to please, the people
Mhm.
over on that side. And no, we picked that song that people can never remember all the words, and doesn't have as nice of. I mean, even even the countries like like Germany, they don't have those like sweet songs like that, but they're so
Oh,
much more stirring. It's like boom, 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 boom. So yeah, that's
I don't know a lot of national anthems. I do remember when Ukraine was invaded, people were playing the Ukrainian national anthem. I noticed that Our Star Spangled Banner and Oh Canada, no matter what their military status was when they wrote the song, it seems to be about triumph and military. And it strikes me odd as I'm reading the lyrics, because I never really knew the Oh Canada is about as far as I got. But they're talking kind of bravely, standing on guard for the. I'm thinking our national anthem is all about the flag surviving the battle as it rages on, and
of course the person who did that video misspelled guard at one point, but
oh, they have my typing skills.
I'll tell you another. Oh, a great national song,
Mhm.
France. Da, 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 da. It's very stirring. And if you ever
That's
look up the translation of that, it's like this great song, and then you'll see it, and it's like, we're gonna hunt them down and beat them bloody, and
I didn't know that was the French national anthem. I thought it was a backbeat to the Beatles' "All We Need Is Love."
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. All right.
not to to go very far off, but there's a great movie, and I can't think of the name now, so I won't even bring it up. But I remember it has to do with a guy who had like a brain injury and has very bad short-term memory. And he was a musician, and he um he was like, he was remembering that da, 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 and they thought he was doing the anthem, and then his father realized it was like the Beatles, and they started connecting through music. And if I think of it along the way, I'll recommend it because it was like really good. I think the father was at J.K. Simmons, and it was like a lot of it had to do with them connecting like later in life because they
Oh.
veered apart. Start the next song, and I'm going to IMDb and see if I can find that.
Oh, okay. Muckster just brought up a memory for me. I'm a Navy veteran as well as an Army veteran, and one of the places we hit with my ship was visited was Ireland, and the Irish Navy hosted our crew in a pub, and they explained to us it was traditional in their Navy pubs that if people were starting it too diversive, if they're getting at odds, if an argument was about to break out, they would stand up and sing. And that was their way of alleviating the desire to get in a barroom brawl. And I thought that was pretty groovy that they use music to settle their differences. But so far we have Sing by the Carpenters and Oh Canada by, I didn't catch the lady's name, but if you're onto a theme yet, let me know, other than the general theme of music connecting everyone. But in the meantime, I'm going to go to the more faith. We've got music, we've got patriotism, and now we're going to go with faith, whatever religion is. What's the name of it? Oh, Swing Low. Swing Low Sweet Chariots. Chariots. And I'm fumbling around with my file sharing. Bear with me. Here we go.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? coming for to carry me home. A band of angels coming after me, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. If you get there before I do, coming for to carry me home, tell all sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
I think I blew it there.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? Coming for to carry me home.
This is where I lacked in mouse control just now. Apologize for that. I doubled the length of this song. There were several versions. This is a very popular song amongst many groups of faith. And honestly, there were better versions, but I was looking for something that had a good voice and the text so that we could read the text as we go along. I don't want to leave your pizzas burning. Sometimes we hear text, the words wrong. And I've noticed this guy. I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? The same voice is singing "Coming for to Carry Me Home." To me, that should be backup singers doing that part, but that's just my limited musical opinion. Did I over-explain it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to continue.
A band of angels coming after me, coming for to carry me home.
The part I think needs backup is swing. No, I was gonna go. This is the way I always picture. Go ahead and play it.
Oh,
Swing
sweet
low,
chariot,
sweet
coming for to
chariot.
carry me
Oh, there you go.
home. Swing low,
Swing low.
sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. If you get there before I do, coming for to carry me home, tell all of my friends I'm coming too, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
I would really like to see Burn 66 live stream that from a pub in Schweinfurt, Germany. Yeah, no, maybe so.
So I have a couple of comments there on that one.
Okay.
First of all, the movie I was thinking of is called The Music Never Stopped. Now, the folks on IMDb only gave it a 7.5, but I rated higher. I recommend it to all 5 people that are here watching us. But I really, and I think especially the music lovers would like it because of the whole music connection. And another thing about it is that's the first time I'd heard of the deal where they use music to connect to people. Like they do this a lot now, like with people with serious dementia, and that and they're even people that they're totally like uncommunicative. You play songs from like their youth and stuff, and it connects them. It bring. I saw videos where it was like the one lady. She just totally all she ever did was like sit in the wheelchair like this. Nobody, family would come and talk to her, and she didn't. They started playing music, and she like, oh hi, how are you doing? She'd talk to them. She'd remember stuff, and after they'd stop the music, she was still good for like another minute or two, and so it's just amazing the way music can touch people. Now, and then what was it? Oh, I got a little thing about this too. I started a thing over there on People's Podcast, and I noticed it's kind of caught on, but I was sitting there one time. You know how chaos goes, and there was 7 people going yak, 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 yak. And I sat there and I just started going, swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. And I kept doing it. And after a while, people stopped because it was like, at first you couldn't even hear me, but people would see me sitting there going, like stopped. They're like, what the hell is he doing? And so I've done that. And the other day, I did the song. I forget what it's called. I think of it, What's the Matter Here, but it's where it's like now I'm losing the words, but it's like part of it goes, well, I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed, and I'm out in my head, and I forget, but it's like, and I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and scream to the top of my lungs, what's going on? So I was singing, and then I could remember the whole words. But when I got to that part, pretty soon there was like 3 or 4 people singing along, and we're going, and I'm pretty sure, I think it might have been when the crazy lady was there, but all of a sudden there's 3 or 4 of us going, so hey. But anyway, it all started with Swing Low, Sweet Chariot.
I think you started something over there, because I was on there last night and they did the same thing to one of the trolls that were trying to steal the stage. They all started singing. I noticed the one lady, Gina, she's got a really good voice.
Yeah.
We may be in trouble with our singing careers because there's people out there who can really sing. Good. Okay, so we've got the Carpenters sing, "Oh Canada," and now we have a tune of Faith, and all kinds of faith groups have used it. Swing Low. Is anyone onto a theme yet, other than Muckster? Okay.
Actually, I'm starting to tickle on to a different theme than what I first thought. So.
Okay, I like the mystery. My next tune is by the great James Taylor, who I understand may have dated Carly Simon, and one of the verses in her "You're Sylvain" song may have been about him. I don't know.
Well, a couple of things about that.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, before this one, let me tell you the first time I heard this song. It was introduced to me by my 9th grade English teacher.
Fire and Rain?
Yeah, she was pretty, it was new at the time, because this was 1945. And she was like fresh out of college, and she said, oh, I want to share this with you. She shared it as like the poetry thing, and like told us the imagery and things like that. But I always remember it because of that. But I was trying to think of, speaking of him and Carly Simon, another song he's known for is "You've Got a Friend."
Summer, winter. Yeah.
Carly wrote that.
Oh.
And she let him release it first. And if you ever listen, when they sing it, there's slight differences in a couple of verses, the way they do it. But yeah, it's like a James Taylor song, but she wrote it.
That's a big mistake on her part. A woman should not let a man release first, because then he's done.
Yeah.
In my heart, I know I'm funny.
Maybe we should play the song.
Maybe, yes, let's do that. And while you're thinking about the theme, forget that Karen Carpenter is dead, and the Canadian national anthem is kind of militaristic about standing guard, and "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot" may have something to do with being carried home to heaven. Forget all that. and see if this one has anything to do with where you think the theme is. What is this? Fire and Rain by Jimmy Taylor.
Or JT, as his friends know him.
Oh, I did not know that.
Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone.
Again, there were several versions of this on YouTube. I picked this one because I'm on a low salt diet, and somehow this girl in the umbrella reminded me of a salt shaker.
And I wrote down this song. I just can't remember who to send it to. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you again. Won't you look down upon me, Jesus? You gotta help me make a stand. You just got to see me through another day. My body's aching and my time is at hand. I won't make it any other way. Whoa, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you again. Mind to an easy time, my back turned towards the sun. Lord knows when the cold wind blows, it'll turn your head around. Well, there's hours of time on the telephone line to talk about things to come. Sweet dreams and flying machines in pieces on the ground. Whoa, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. Seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you, baby, one more time again now. Thought I'd see you one more time again. There's just a few things coming my way this time around now. Thought I'd see you fire and rain now.
Well, I get the impression from that song that he never saw his friend again. Do you think that was about death or a broken friendship, a relationship of some sort?
Well, you know, as I was listening to it and I was remembering what Miss Shell, my teacher, said, and I was just thinking here, and I thought, you know, I've never looked it up again to verify the story, because you know how a lot of times we talked before about sometimes when the song comes out and people, like a good example, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, everybody was saying it was about drugs, and when it wasn't, you know. And so I'm wondering now if what she said was, but what she said was this was about him and a woman that he knew when they were both in an asylum. Fire and Rain is electric shock therapy and cold showers. You know, they throw you into an icy cold shower then. And, you know, he got out and I think she died there or she died. But yeah, it was like, I always thought I'd see you again, but no.
Okay. I don't know. I was going down a different thought pattern. He was talking about flying machines and pieces on the ground. I thought his friend died in a plane accident.
Hey, Barbara.
I like your story better. Hey, Barbara.
Well, you know what I thought of as I saw those words just now. I thought, fantasy, discussing fantasies. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like that sort of thing, that it wasn't like actual flying machines and pieces on the ground. That it was, these sort of, I don't know what, I hate to say things like insane dreams or whatever, but I wonder if that was like part of it. But I don't know. I'm too lazy now, but I really should look it up sometime and see if that is what it was really about.
Maybe I spent too much time this week goofing off on YouTube. I should have been doing my homework for the show. But so far we got Sing by the Carpenters. The main singer in the Carpenters is Karen, who's deceased. We have Oh Canada, the national anthem of Canada, which surprisingly had a little militaristic point in it. We have Swing Low, Sweet Chariots, which it seems to be a song about faith, about having faith that you're going to go to heaven. And I've seen Fire and Rain, which seems like it might have something to do about a lost friend, maybe to death. But that's not my theme. They do have that commonality, but that's not where I was going with this. Anyone who thinks they guessed it, they could put it in the chat, or they can wait till after our last song in today's review, Both Sides Now by Joni Mitchell. And I'm going to fumble around with digging up the video file again. Joni Mitchell, where are you? There you are.
And the first person to guess the theme correctly, Pinko will send you $100. We had discussed that, hadn't we?
Let's discuss.
I thought.
Rows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and feather canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that weep, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's cloud illusions. I recall, I really don't know clouds at all. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, the dizzy dancing way you feel as every fairy tale comes real. I've looked at love that way, but now it's just another show. You leave 'em laughing when you go, and if you care, don't let them know. Don't give yourself away. I've looked at love from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's love's illusions. I recall, I really don't know love at all. Tears and fears and feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds, I've looked at life that way, but now old friends are acting strange. They shake their heads, they say I've changed. Well, something's lost, but something's gained in living every day. I've looked at life from both sides now, from win and lose, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all. I've looked at life from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all.
I was going to cut it off when the lyrics stopped, but I saw Burns appreciating the guitars, so I thought I'd let it play out. So what do you think? Is the glass half empty or the glass half full? Or could it be looked at both ways?
And who the hell drank half my glass? Well, you know, whenever he made that comment, I was thinking Burns is right. That's a perfect example of a song that doesn't need anything else except just an acoustic guitar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if the wrong producer would go into a studio with that and say, okay, now let's bring in, you know, some violins and let's, you know, it would ruin it, you know. Sometimes more cowbell just doesn't work.
For a rare occasion, I think I agree with you. Yes, that was made for the guitar and only one acoustic. Very good. And what really amazes me, as we were playing that song, I saw that Burns 66 hung in there with us this long. That's pretty fascinating. By the way, this show is generally about the music. That's why there's only two people on the panel. When we're done with the music, we will, if Muckster wants to, open it up to other guests to talk about anything, politics, vaccines, COVID, other YouTube channels, whatever. We're just trying to keep it narrowed to the music at the beginning of this show. Well, now we've gone through all five. Sing by the Carpenters. Oh, Canada. Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, I've Seen Fire and Rain, and oh, thank you, and Both Sides Now by Joni Mitchell and her guitar, which I believe Burns 66 taught her how to play the guitar. I could be wrong. Does anyone think they have a common theme besides they're all music and they all, you know, the usual musical connection? And no, I don't have $100 on it.
A couple times I thought I knew where you were going, and then I think, well, I'm not quite sure how that would fit. You know, there'd be like one song that didn't seem to fit what I was thinking.
Okay.
I'll tell you one silly thing.
Yeah.
That I thought this cannot possibly be right. It's kind of egotistical. When I first saw your when you first put them up, and I started seeing them, I thought, well, this is the kind of theme that only Finkel would notice. But it was like they were all songs that I had started some of my God, I'm losing my words. Some of my YouTubes with. You know how I start a lot of mine by singing, and it's like, wait a minute. Every one of these I have started.
You really think it's all about you, don't you?
Yes.
What's the word for that, Burns? Is it narcissism?
No, it's called being Muckster. It's
Being Muckster. Okay. Well, you're close. They are all covers. None of them are the original artist. And I did some.
God.
Sorry.
Oh God, no! Guess I already had my theme for next week.
Yeah.
I've even tested the songs. Guess what the theme was?
Covers.
Yes.
Do we have to rewrite next week's show or what? I don't know.
But it's because I did the same thing. It's all songs that you wouldn't realize were covers. Holy cow, that's so crazy.
Well, these songs are all covers, and I dug real hard, and I found the original artist for all of them. And so let's set aside Muckster's narcissism, thinking it's all about him. I put together a video about this. Where did I put it? Uh-oh. There we go. The inspiration for the show. Here we go. David Finkel here. This is pre-recorded on the 12th of February. I wanted to share the inspiration and the commonality these tunes all have. They're all covers. They are not. None of these are the original. And as I was trying to figure out what music I wanted to play this week, I found that the common denominator is the originating artist for all of these tunes. He was there when Canada created their national anthem. He was there when ancient Jordan had angels coming over, and he even babysat Joni Mitchell. That's why she stole his music. But this is the original artist of all of these pieces.
Don't worry if it's not good enough for anyone else to hear.
Yes, son of a bitch.
Sing a song. Man, no. Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada.
That one took 2 takes.
Our home and native land. Which, of course, it isn't. You know. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you again. James Taylor. I've looked at YouTube from both sides.
This is a great one.
The good, the bad, and still somehow I go back to YouTube at least once an hour. I really can't quit YouTube at all. So, you know, whenever...
Sure. In my heart, I know I'm funny.
Had to work that in there somewhere. All right. You did guess it. I have to give you credit. You did guess it. You're not a narcissist. You were accurate. But now, if folks would like, do you have something?
Well, no, it is funny because when I first saw, when I was doing your, preview thing, and I that was going through my mind, and I thought, no, I mean, and at first I thought, well, he's the only one who would probably notice that, and I thought, no, that's silly, why would it be about? But then there was I forget which one it was now. I thought. It was like, I thought, no, I don't think I've ever done Fire and Rain. So, and just now when you were doing them, I was looking for these deeper meanings because they're all like inspirational and stuff like that. And then you said it had nothing to do with death, because I was like, yeah. And you just ruined my theme for next week.
Oh, well, you blew it, not me. That was your OPSEC misstep. Burns. We're going to hire. Go ahead.
Something though that made I thought of for a future show when I was thinking of covers. And this one I don't mind announcing ahead because I thought it might be interesting. We'd do 6 songs because we'd have to do. I thought pick like three songs, 2 different versions, and have people decide which one they like better. You know, it might be just like 2 different versions, or it might be, hey, here's the original, here's the cover. You know, I thought that might be. We could do.
It's a great idea.
We could probably even do like 4. You know, 3 or 4, get them in time.
Yeah, and I was thinking we could hire this guy to do the acoustics, the guitar, and that Gina lady from People's Podcast to do the vocals.
Gina's my buddy, by the way.
We can't afford the other one.
I told her the other night because she kept screwing things up, and I said, "You know, you are the blondest black woman I've ever met."
The what? Oh, blondest.
Blondest, yes.
Blondest
because I kept joking about that she was. I'd make a joke and I'd go, "Okay, now wait, everybody, give Gina about 15 seconds and she'll laugh." You know.
Oh, okay. Well,
but anyway,
I'm curious if Burns would do Swing Low in a pub in Schweinfurt.
I don't know the song, how to play it. I mean,
how you doing, Burns?
I'm doing good. I played in the Irish pub with my bands I was in, acoustically with another guy before here in Schweinfurt.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
You know, one interesting thing, I'm not sure specifically about Swing Low, and you know, the genre is no longer PC to mention, but it's always songs I like that it used to be called Negro spirituals. You know, and I forget if Swing Low was one of them, but a lot of those. And the interesting thing about them is they were written by a white preacher from Erie, Pennsylvania, even though they're Negro spirituals, and you always picture like of Southern slaves or that singing them. I always thought that was interesting how many of them. But anyway, back to Burns.
Gospels, yeah.
Yeah, that's they sort of led into gospels later. I guess they do lump in now, but there was that specific set of them that's what they were called.
I normally play. I mean, as far back I go with music would be the blues.
I love some good blues.
Yeah, I mean, it started because a dad and my dad, a guy in my dad's unit that came over and brought a BB King album because he wanted, hey, can you show my son how to play some stuff on guitar? And the guy told me, he goes, who do you want to play like? I said, I want to play like Eddie Van Halen. And he goes, well, you need to learn your history first. And I'm like, what are you talking about, history? And he goes, who influenced Eddie Van Halen? I said, Eric Clapton. Well, who influenced Eric Clapton? You keep going back that way. It's like who influenced Jimmy Page, you know? So you start, and he said, learn your history, and you go back, he goes, this is where it all started, handing me the best of B.B. King. He goes, this is one of the Kings, forget who the other 2 are, which is Albert, and I always forget the other one.
Wow.
So I started with the blues, and I went through the 30s, 40s, 50s rock and roll, found how music, the 1-4-5 on the guitar, the 3 chords, and then as it got into the 60s pop, I went off into the psychedelic way, then to the little jam rock stuff, and back in the 60s there were so many avenues and different types of genres that they all blended together, but it was just great music during the 60s. And then you go up into the 70s where it really exploded. And then in the 80s, that's where you started seeing the marketing of music to specific groups of people. And that's, so my dad would trip out. He came home from work and I'll be listening to classical music one day. And then the next day I'll be listening to the Four Tops. And then the next day I'm listening to Judas Priest. And it just bounced everywhere.
Judas Priest. I've heard them. Living After Midnight.
Yeah.
rocking till the dawn,
Yeah.
loving till the morning. Then I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm gone. Well, I haven't heard them in a million years.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to play the metal stuff. I even played in Bremerhaven. I played for about 7 months. I would say R&B soul review band where I had to wear a suit and tie, and this is the first time I didn't stand and stare at my neck because I had to do the moves with the horn people, do the dance moves.
Oh, yeah.
So we had to get the coordination to do that. So
Um,
great experience, but then I found another rock band to jump into. I always just like playing live in front of people.
In 1950, for my 40th birthday, I went to watch the David Letterman show, and the musical guest was B.B. King.
Oh,
And of course, every commercial break, he was playing. It was B.B. King. It was great.
so on the guitar for his solos, they call it the BB King box, which is these. It's like. Just those 5 notes is what it's called, the BB King box, and that guy he can vibrato and bend a note. I'm jealous that you got to see him because what a player and singer.
And that was a cool thing about it too. Now that I say played through all the commercials because he was a musical guest, but he sat in with the band through the whole night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Wow.
It's probably on YouTube, I hope, because I saw the one with Eddie Van Halen
Probably.
on that he was there as a special guest musician with the band. He would jam during the commercial breaks.
Yeah, they used to get a lot of really good. It's amazing, the quality of people that would do that.
Yeah. So yeah.
One of the regulars was Warden Zevon.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that's another player.
I'll never forget watching the show, his last appearance when he knew he was dying.
Oh.
And he played some, and that of course Keep Me in Your Heart Tonight. When you listen to that song knowing this guy is singing this song knowing he soon won't be around. But I always remember Dave talked to him, and they talked up, and Dave said, now at this point, and I forget, I can't quote Dave exactly, but I do know exactly what Warren said. But Dave said, at this point, he said, is there anything you now know that you could tell us? And Warren Zevon said, enjoy every sandwich. Yeah. And it's like, of course, he wasn't just talking about, ham and cheese. It was like the whole wider thing. Just enjoy life while you have it. Enjoy every moment,
Every moment. Don't take it for granted.
Excellent timing. We have a request here from BSBT for a love song for KFAR. And the first thing that I thought of, Muckster was talking about eating a sandwich. And I thought, I'm streaming. And while I'm doing that, I'm eating. Okay, I suck at it.
Now I'll sing KFAR blues before I say a love song.
I got the lowdown fathead.
There you go. That's actually by Danzig, called "I'm Alone." I just played it much faster. So and everybody thinks Danzig is some hard rock dude. He got this really cool acoustic blues song called "I'm the One," which is a really cool song.
What is like you said about well, who taught Clapton? Well, who did who? And it is so many of like, especially like the '60s rock groups and that, the Stones and all them. They said it all comes from the blues.
Yeah, Stones were a blues cover band at first. They played all the blues classics. It's that's amazing. They went from playing blues classics, and then I think right around the time Brian Jones left or whatever, they started doing more original stuff. Especially after his death, they went more original. I mean, even one of my bands at what's called John Mayall and the Blues Breakers is another great band where Clapton got his start. Where he went to. I like the version with Peter Green in it, the original Fleetwood Mac guitar player. People don't realize Fleetwood Mac was actually a blues band that got up to 3 guitar players. They're the ones who did Black Magic Woman. Carlos Santana covered it. So
was that before Buckingham Nicks joined them?
Yep. And I forgot the one gentleman that was in the band before Buckingham Nicks joined them. Yeah, he was the bridge between the blues guys and the other one. Oh, man. His videos are coming up on my YouTube stream, and I was like, holy crap. And there's his whole live show 1980 at the Roxy in LA is on YouTube, and Stevie Nicks goes up there and sings a couple songs with him.
And by the way, I saw both Fleetwood Mac and then Stevie Nicks in concert. That would be like in the 50s.
Were they at the original Woodstock?
Yeah.
I thought so, yeah. Okay. They tried to do a redo of Woodstock in my hometown after the Air Force Base closed, and it turned out to be chaos. The big guy, I wasn't there at the time, but it's some kind of kerfluffle over bottled water or some stupid shit like that.
Well, what happened with the festivals in the late 60s is that the fans started making, they thought the music belonged to them and it should be free. And that's what happened at the Isle of Wight Festival, where they just stormed the fence.
You know who agreed with the fans? That the music should just be free, but his band wouldn't let it be that way? Jerry Garcia.
Oh, Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I purchased on iTunes a Woodstock album. It was just live recordings of the artist at Woodstock, and I was actually surprised. I thought it was always about the hippie movement, but we had Sha Na Na on there, which I kind of grew up with as a Greaser group.
I remember watching their TV shows on AFN.
Yeah.
It's funny because, of course, the big act that it was Jimi Hendrix. It's like that was going to finish. And because everything went so long, he ended up playing, I think it was like ridiculously late at Sunday night,
It was Monday morning, actually.
Is that what it was? I was going to say it seemed like it was early morning, but then I thought, I might be remembering wrong.
No, and more than half the people left. If you look at the actual video of the show, you just look at this crowd. Before you would see it just full of people, and then it just emptied out because I think a lot of people left that early that morning or the night of.
I have a friend who really was there because there's an awful lot of people back, the 10 or so years afterwards, we're always saying, oh, I was there. And, but this one, he actually was. And I remember him saying, because he's a bit older than me, it's like, he said, we had to leave because we all had work Monday morning. and so they totally missed him, missed Hendrix. You know, something I didn't know until fairly recently. You know, the last few years, that they actually had the second stage set up at the I think they called it the hog farm, where they had like a food stand and stuff, and a lot of the acts would go up there and they would be sitting there, you know, just strumming guitar and stuff too.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. A nearby farm, not
this
just.
album right here. Jimi Hendrix live
Yeah,
at Woodstock. I still have my iPod. I love my iPod.
yeah.
In fact, I got three of them.
I still have the 3 page fold out vinyl album of the original. You know, they lost money on Woodstock, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
So,
It wasn't
I still
until
have-
the album came out that they made any money off it.
Right. Yeah.
I still have all three.
Oh wow.
Well,
I have to because I have over 2,000 CDs and I have over 600 LPs. I had over 300 cassettes, but I converted them all to digital. Took me about a month to do that.
During the countdown, when I'm kind of going through all the music, you see a shot of Jimi Hendrix in London, and you hear my voice saying, "Little known fact: Jimi Hendrix was a rocker-son." I didn't intend for that to bleed through onto the countdown, but when I was at the museum, I had a memory bubble. When I was in the 3rd of the 187th Infantry at Fort Campbell, I ran an errand over to one of the other companies and they had a big mural of Jimi Hendrix. It turned out that at one point he was in that company, which really struck me as odd. I had no idea he had ever served, but
Oh yeah,
he was a rocker son.
He got medically discharged. So
And not for a bee sting.
No, not for a bee sting. He messed his ankle up on a jump.
You okay, Muckster?
yeah, this is me trying to think. I was
Oh,
trying to remember what the band was that kicked Jimi Hendrix out.
Oh, Little Richard's band. And
Is that who it
Isley
was?
Brothers. Yeah, Little Richard. That's why you see Jimi Hendrix. If you look at Little Richard, the way Little Richard is, the way he dressed and stuff, he copied Little Richard. I mean, Jimi Hendrix copied Little Richard. The way way he started. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was because Little Richard was homophobic. Because didn't Jimi Hendrix say, "Excuse me while I kiss this guy"?
No. Here, I'll just show you some of my guitars here.
Well, you got almost as many as Muckster.
Yeah, you can see my collection behind me here.
So mine are mostly Strats. I got more in the basement. I'm just a guitaraholic. I sold sold about 10 of them when I was in Texas.
Where's your 59 Les Paul?
Oh, I don't have a Les Paul. Those things are too heavy. I got to play a 68 in the studio. A friend of mine let me use it in the studio for my band's CD. I needed something for a different sound on a certain song, and that needed a Les Paul, and he had a 68. He also has a 72 Strat. I have it's locked up in the basement. I have a 1957 Telecaster. Not a reissue, but a real one. So that one's it's been valued at over $40,000. So people want to buy it off me, and I'm keeping it.
Speaking of classic guitars and that, what was forget that Western that Tarantino did, where it all takes place, like in that Stagecoach Station. Do you know what I'm talking about? But anyway, in there, the one guy has a guitar, and there's a point where someone takes the guitar and smashes it. Well, the guitar they were using in there, a guitar museum let them borrow it. It was like some rare, guitar that was like of the time. And the prop guy was supposed to switch it out for the smashing scene, and he didn't. And they destroyed this classic guitar.
Oh, I bet you they had insurance on it though. They normally
Yeah.
do. But it's still sad that an old guitar.
Yeah. The museum said we'll never loan another one out
Probably
again.
somebody tried to repair it and stuff, and it's not the same value.
Well, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, they did a regular, the Who's smashing guitar kind of a thing. It was
I
destroyed.
couldn't do that. I couldn't even do that with a cheap guitar. I couldn't smash one on stage. There's no way. I like guitars too much. I love jamming acoustics, my electrics, because I got about 4 acoustic guitars. I forgot how many electrics I had. I sold a bunch of them. I never took out of the case, and they needed to be played, so I just sold them. If I'm not going to play them, somebody else might as well.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
When you were playing that little bit earlier, and you said about it was Danzig, but you speak. I love when someone will take a song and just totally reimagine it. Either like a hard rock song, and they'll just like slow it down and make.
Oh yeah.
Or do the it's always great when it's like, it's just like.
I'm trying to figure out how, because I'm trying to figure out some cover songs that do that you can't even tell that they were covers of the song until you hear them sing the lyrics.
Let's see if I can find one of my favorites of that happening.
I know what song that I thought Nazareth did Love Hurts, and that's actually what you call it song. Let me see. It's God dang it. Everly Brothers song.
Really?
Yeah, so when you listen here Nazareth sing Love Hurts, it's actually Everly Brothers song. And Nazareth, it was a little bit faster with the Everly Brothers, but the the Nazareth slowed it down, which I found very interesting. The way I thought it was, and then my dad's like, that's an Everly Brothers song. I'm like, what? My dad has a great record collection too. That's where I probably got that from. My dad has everything from classical music, country music, rock and roll, 60s rock, 50s rock. He grew up in the late 50s, early 60s.
Here's I always love this. I watch a lot of these shows, and I was like, here's a good example of somebody changing up a song, because I just love this. I might have to fast forward it. They might have the
But is even waiting? Is there
backstage stuff.
Oh.
There's a love in your eyes all the way. If I listen to realize, would you say that I'm a man without conviction? I'm a man who doesn't know how to stand a contradiction. You come and go.
I always loved that part. She changed it so much that Boy George did not recognize his own most famous song.
Oh, that's crazy.
You used to feel so sweet. I heard you say that my love was an addiction. You string along, you string along, you string along. Come here.
But yeah, she just took that and made it a totally different song. it kind of reminds me of you know Janis Joplin, Me and Bobby McGee,
Yeah.
um, and that was written by Chris Christopherson. You know, a country
Really?
singer.
I didn't know
And
that.
I remember seeing Chris on something, and he said he was in his car, and that came on the radio the first time he heard it, her singing it, and he said, "I said to myself, that's the way that song should be sung," you know. But yeah, Chris Christopherson's one of those guys that he has a lot of songs out there that other people, you wouldn't think it was a Chris Christopherson song. I'll tell
Yeah.
another one that a lot of people won't even remember. There was a country guy back called Hoyt Axton, and he he had a bunch of, and he was like a real down home country singer. But on the other hand, he wrote songs for like Three Dog Night and a bunch of other groups of the time. It's just interesting. I mean, that's true musicians who could do that. Not just be stuck in their own little.
Yeah.
But I always loved that thing there with her singing, and it took Boy George so long to realize she was singing his most famous song.
Well, good, because when he came on MTV when I was a teenager, it took me several weeks to figure out his gender. I mean, I saw the title Boy George, but I'm like, is that a man or a woman? I couldn't figure it out for the longest time.
That's when he was part of Culture Club, right?
Yeah,
Culture.
yeah.
Yeah, Culture Club.
Do you really want to hurt me?
Yes, we do.
You really want to make me cry? Oh man. Yeah, I've heard that good artists borrow from each other, great artists outright steal.
Well, there's only a lot of songs. Me and a friend of mine went down a rabbit hole on YouTube where this musician says how everybody's taken from everybody's music, and you'd be amazed on how many people are and it's I can sit here, write a song, start recording it, throw it down, then I'm thinking this sounds familiar. Then a couple days later I'll hear the song, I'm like, God dang, I just rewrote somebody else's song. So
Well,
all
when
that time and effort, I just
Yeah.
throw it away. I was like, okay, because
But
you
when
subconsciously have it, and
you think about, there's really only so many ways you can put notes together, so
when
it's
you do
bound to,
yeah, when you deal with 1/4/5, which is basic rock and roll, there's only so much you can only do with those three chords right there, and if you play them and or you could do the four chords, which is I would like to go I played that. There's three.
I noticed you cut off right before the part where I was going to start singing, so that was smart of you.
Because they play in so many different keys, and it's like so that's the original key, which is or the
When
country
the
version
night-
is then you have the country version is know there's a country version, and then there's another version they do, and it's like when I go play with another person or something, they always play in a different key, and I have to sit there and figure it out. I always have to tell them, do you guys play in the A, or do you play in the C, or the G version? You know.
So let me give you an unfair question. How about we'll say top 5 guitarists of all time?
It's all personal stuff.
I know. I always hate those. I always hate those
I hate
questions
doing top
myself.
fives because my top five is going to be completely different for other people, and
Well,
my top five will change every day.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But let's not even put them in order. Just who are some of the that you think were great? You know, we
Eric
won't even
Clapton's got to be in there somewhere.
Who?
Eric Clapton. Sly.
I don't know, because I have like one of my favorite guitar players is Jeff Beck.
Yeah.
That's a guy who completely kept going this way in skill level all the way to the day he died. And then, I have Hendrix is another one, Van Halen. Clapton, I liked him in, I liked him in Cream, but after Cream, some of his solo stuff was good. And some stuff he did in the 80s was good. He's a great guitar player. Let me see. And Page is another guitar player I like. And then the reason why I play Stratocaster is Buddy Holly. That's the guy. That's the reason why. Everybody thinks because it's Hendrix. No, it's Buddy Holly. Because my dad listened to Buddy Holly when I was a kid, and I just remember seeing pictures of him with the Stratocaster, and I just loved that guitar from the first time I saw it. So.
That's a good point. I got a friend who discovered a few years back that I'm a Beatles fan, and ever since then, every time he sees me, he says, "So, what's your favorite Beatles tune?" I'm like, "Dude, every time you ask me, I'm going to have a different answer because
That's the way.
Yeah,
that's the way I am too, with those.
A couple of years ago, I went down to Beatles Road and I just started buying all their records, all the CDs on Amazon. I went on Amazon. It's okay. I got to get this one now. I have to get this record now. I got to get this record.
When I first saw the Beatles, and this is true, I'm not making fun of my age with this, I did not like them because the first time I saw them was when they were on Ed Sullivan.
Oh,
okay.
And I think I was like 5 years older, maybe a little younger. I forget. But anyway, I just remember because my older sister, because not the oldest, because the other one's younger. But anyway, she was like, the Beatles. She was like, and I remember to my young ears, when that came on, all I heard was 3,874 young women going, ah! But let me throw a guitarist out there that no one hardly ever puts on their list because you don't think of them. You always think of all the rockers and stuff. But in my uneducated opinion, I think was brilliant. Roy Clark. That guy had amazing hands.
Roy Clark and what's the other one that starred in Smokey and the Bandit with
Eastbound and Down.
Yeah, he's another amazing guitar player. Buck Owens and Roy Clark on Hee Haw. When I saw them battle it out on the guitars, oh my goodness, what guitar players they were! Holy crap! Yeah, talk about the Beatles. My band used to play. We used to play. Let's see if I can remember.
La 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 la. Yep.
Yeah, but if you listen to this, if you listen to the.
That's Richie Valens, isn't it?
Shake it on, baby.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So we used to combine both songs. So we start off with La Bamba and go right into
Twist and Shout.
Twist and Shout.
Oh wow! I'm growing up a Beatles fan. I thought they wrote "Roll Over Beethoven," and just the other day I'm at the African American Museum, and they have this whole area due to culture, and you may have heard it in the countdown, Chuck Berry doing it, and he introduced it, and I'm like, the song's meaning changed right before my eyes. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, that's to me is like the the foundation of rock and roll is Little Richard and Chuck Berry right there. Those two guys right there. That to me is the pinnacle of rock and roll.
And often did not get the credit for it or the money.
yeah.
Well,
I up until the other day, I thought it was a Beatles tune. I didn't
Yeah.
know.
I'll tell you.
Well,
I'll tell you what.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say my favorite Beatles story that is probably pretty well known now, but I remember Paul saying when they were first, him and John like first got together and was making songs, they used to meet at Paul's house all the time because they had a piano, and him and John would be sitting in there, and Paul's dad was a musician, and they'd come out and they'd say, "What do you think of this?" Anyway, they sat in there and they wrote "She Loves You," and they go out and it's like, "Hey, Dad, listen to this one. What do you think? She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah." And his dad says, "Well, I like it." He says, "But do you have to say, yeah, yeah, yeah? We've got enough Americanism. Couldn't you make it yes, yes, yes?" and, and I always think, if they'd listened to his father, we may have never heard of the Beatles. Because if you try picturing it, it just doesn't sound right. But yeah.
Well, I forgot about Roy Clark. Thank you for bringing him up. He was good.
Yeah, boy, that hand would just. I can remember watching some, and I thought, okay, did they speed up the film? And it was wow, it was just amazing the way he could. But again, people don't think of him because he was country, and nobody really thinks of there being any country artists who are great musicians. You know what I mean? Because it's mostly doom, doom, doom.
Yeah.
A lot of rock guitar players are influenced by country pickers because of the way they play. I don't know if you ever heard of Hank Garland.
I don't think so.
There's a Steve Vai who
Okay.
major rock guitar player, played with David Lee Roth. He produced a movie about Hank Garland, and I watched the movie, and I went out and bought this guy's whatever CDs I can find on Hank Garland. Very, very, very interesting guitar player, and he was climbing up there to be one of the best guitar players, but he had a tragic life with a car accident and them trying to put him in a mental institution. He had a lot of bad things going on for him. But what a guitar player. And a Gibson guitar, I think the Songbird is one of the, I think it's called the Songbird. That guitar is his design. It was his design. Him and his cousin designed that guitar. It's very interesting. I know the movie was free on Amazon Prime for a while, but it's a great movie about this guy. But his music's really good. It's a lot of instrumentals. He was very influenced by the jazz players of the day too, because he was country picking, but he kept looking for other things to play, and he started just wandering the jazz clubs in the 50s and 60s. So
I'll have to see if it's still available on Prime.
Yeah, I forgot the name of the movie, but let me see if I can find it.
Something I have found interesting about like documentaries like that. I sometimes, just out of curiosity, I'll see they did a documentary on some group that I would have no interest whatsoever in buying an album from that group or anything, but I find the documentaries about their life very interesting.
Oh yeah, same here. I'm the same way.
A year or two back, we watched, I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's about Freddie Mercury and Queen.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it closed with a scene which I think I was a mile and a half away. I was Messenger of the Watch in Philadelphia, and about a mile and a half away was a stadium where they had that what was it, Live Aid or Band Aid or something like that. And I remember I could hear the music and the crowds off in the distance. I'm like, man, why am I on duty today? I want to be at that concert.
Okay, here's, see if we can get the album artwork up.
And you know, Queen wasn't even the featured act.
No, they were one of many. It was, I don't know, comparable to the number of acts in Woodstock, I believe.
There's kind of one of those, okay, we'll let you do a couple of songs.
This is the movie right here.
Crazy.
Called Crazy.
Let me go to Prime right now and see if it's there so I can mark it.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
He's not the guy that wrote Crazy for
No,
Patsy Cline, is he?
I don't know. I gotta look that up now.
It's kind of fascinating watching you stream, be on the stream and show your iPhones with your quickly accessed music. Because when I think of Schweinfurt, I think of dollop modems and 23 pfennigs per minute.
Yeah. That's what I had too in my apartment. I put a timer. You know, I put one of those sand-dial timers for how long I could be on the internet to chat with my dad in the States. Okay, Crazy was actually written by Willie Nelson.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Willie Nelson wrote that song for Patsy Cline. You can hear that's a Willie Nelson song after I hear it in my head.
I did live stream last night, and Master Sergeant Retard was on, and Mr. Wilson here was kind of heckling us from the chat. And now that I'm thinking about it, Master Sergeant Retard could be here today, and we could be the police. No? Yeah, okay. All right.
I did not know that. That's interesting. Yeah, I got a chance to watch. Yeah, there it is.
Still available.
Oh, that's good. It's a good movie. It's a really good movie. It's tragic, heartbreaking. It's really, really good. It's a good movie.
Now, Muckster, last night or the night before, you were whining that you lost Netflix. You got Amazon Prime. You don't need Netflix when you got Amazon Prime.
Well, I also allegedly have a very good torrent site that makes it unnecessary to have any kind of paid service.
Torrid? I'm not familiar with that.
A friend of mine does that too. Torrent site.
Oh.
I actually will download TV shows that all I really need to do is go like this and watch them on TV. But when I download the torrent, well, first of all, it works good for my ADD because I can be watching the TV show on half of my monitor and be over here playing a game or whatever. And also, when I download the torrent, it doesn't have any of those annoying commercials, you know. But yeah, I've watched a lot of movies that way, allegedly, in case the FBI is listening.
I have my parents let me use their Fubo streaming, so I can record sports events. I have to use a VPN over here because none of that stuff. I have Disney Plus, Netflix, Max, Hulu, so I can watch. I have all that stuff, but they only work with a VPN over here. So I'm glad I got the VPN before I left a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
A funny thing. A lot of stuff that I go to watch on Amazon, it'll say not available, and I got to turn my VPN off. Even though right now my VPN is set for like another place in America. So you think it wouldn't matter, but I forget what it was. I wanted to watch. There was a British show. It might have been the British Voice or something. I couldn't watch the stream of it, and so then just go on the VPN and go, oh, guess what? I live in London.
Yeah,
you know.
That's what I do. Netflix is the only one that gives me problems over here. I know you can use Netflix overseas if you have it, pay for it stateside, but I like the American version because the American show selections and stuff. So got the VPN on for that. And
Yeah.
then I'll be watching a show and I'll stop in the middle and go, oh, we noticed you're using a VPN. I'm like, oh, dang it. So I have to switch from Dallas to New York or something like that to get continuous. I try to stay on one city so they think I'm in one place. So they're like, okay, he's still in one place because you know how these places, they think you're sharing your login information with other people. So I don't
Yeah.
want that.
I hate when people do that, and I hate even more when after 2 years Netflix realizes that I've been watching it for free because of my friend's account.
Yeah. All right, guys, I got to head out.
All right. Thanks for joining. And thanks for sticking it out with
thanks
us.
for having me around and deal with me fiddling around on my acoustic.
Oh no, this was great. You added some class to the whole music show.
I don't think I did.
Well, I mean, at least you. I mean, I don't know for sure, but at least you pretend well that you know what you're talking about. So, which is a big improvement
I fake
over us.
It's all fake.
Yeah, as a toy guitar, and what we heard was pre-recorded.
It was pre-recorded.
Yeah,
yeah. You know, when he plays the guitar is never actually seen because what he does is he leans back and he hits a little button. It's got.
We're on to you, Burns.
Yep.
Thanks for joining the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. And I'll be here. I'll be here next Tuesday because if we do this every Tuesday, I'll be hanging out.
Now that I have to come up with a new theme because they will ruin mine. Maybe,
right, guys.
maybe next week we'll set up that comparison thing where we'll come up with like two versions of songs and have people decide what they like better. That might be interesting.
That'd be better. That'd be.
And if you have, and since the theme is public, if you have any suggestions, send them to Finkel of songs you think would fit that good.
Okay.
Or to Muckster.
Okay.
Well, I figured he probably is already contact with you.
Just through Stone Vet or Mesh Sergeant's live streams on the chats.
All right, guys. You all have a great